First up on our Cowboys Rumors Roundup is Dallas looking at other free agents. 4 stars on this one, but maybe it's a bit of a deceptive 4 stars because it's not exactly a bunch of big-name players. They're not looking at the likes of Kenny Vaccaro or Eric Reed. They're looking at guys to help fill some camp body spots. Quarterback Matt Davis, who was at SMU, and then Alonzo Russell, who you saw earlier played from the Bengals out at Toledo. I don't know if they're going to sign any of these guys. We mentioned Ryan Delaire last week. He was another player the Cowboys had worked out. This is camp body type of stuff, guys that can play in week 4 of the preseason but aren't actually going to make the active roster. So maybe they add some more players, but they're not going to be big-name additions, more along the lines of a camp body. Speaking of camp, are the Cowboys players training now? 4 stars on this one. The Cowboys offseason program doesn't start until next week, but a large amount of the Cowboys players have already started training and kind of getting back in the conditioning shape type deal. Over 50 players have been working out at the Star. Not all this week. Some have been last week. Some have come and gone and have done other things this offseason. But Frederick says a lot of the core guys have shown up. Travis Frederick, the Cowboys center. So it's a promising sign for Dallas. These are guys just trying to make sure that they're in shape. Maybe not quite in game shape or even camp shape yet, but they're going to get there as well. So I like this for the Cowboys. Again, 4 stars on this one. A lot of the guys have begun to work out and get in the conditioning shape at the Star. Now for some actual more rumor items here. La'el Collins, does he want to play right tackle? Well, 3 stars on this one, He has said yes, he wants to play right tackle, but it's only 3 stars and not the outright 4 because he says he will move to guard if the Cowboys ask him to do so. That's why it's 3 and not the 4 there. He thinks he's going to play right tackle as well if the Cowboys go draft a guard, for example, in the first or early in the second round. In reality, I want the Cowboys to have La'el Collins play guard, or tackle, I think he is a tackle. That's what he played at LSU. That's where I want him to be. We'll get that weigh-in up here as well because I am curious what you guys think as well. I know there's been a lot of buzz about moving Collins to guard. I want him at tackle. I think that is the better fit for Collins. And I think in reality, the right tackle spot is more important than the left guard spot. You can get a good guard in the NFL draft. That's the route I would go. I want Collins at right tackle, but I'm curious what you guys think, so get those comments in the comments section. Next up, what about the Cowboys and Jeremy Maclin? Well, 1 star on this one. It's not fake news. There was some truth to it, but the emphasis is on the was part. The Cowboys did have interest in Jeremy Maclin. They made a call, but then they went out and they signed Dallin Hearns. That crosses Maclin off the list of potential options for the Cowboys at wide receiver. So he's not going to join Dallas, but there was some truth to it in the past. That's why it ends up being 1 star there. One of the main discussion points all offseason long has been the future of Dez Bryant and the Dallas Cowboys. But will the Cowboys actually cut him? An update here coming up, but first, go from our sponsor, The Guild. It's still in the 2-star category, firmly in that rumor category. But I have a sinking feeling that the Cowboys might actually move on from Dez Bryant. Mike Fisher said today there's an under 50% chance that Dez plays for the Cowboys. Jerry Jones has yet to talk about Dez or with Dez about his future. And there is at least a faction of the Cowboys front office and or coaching staff that clearly want Dez Bryant gone. It's still 50-50 in my eyes. I don't think it's the right decision, but I am concerned the Cowboys are actually considering and maybe even leaning towards cutting Dez Bryant right now. Look, we've had this reaction poll a bunch. I am still curious what you guys think. If it's up to me, I am keeping Dez Bryant. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to cut Dez Bryant for one big reason. You get worse as a football team if you cut Dez Bryant. And where are you going to spend that money you save? There are no good free agents left. Are you going to save it for next year? Okay, I guess I kind of get that part. But if you're trying to win right now, and all indications are that's what Dallas is trying to do, cutting Dez Bryant makes you worse. I think you ask him to take a pay cut. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But if it's just keep or cut, keep Dez Bryant. You can still draft a receiver. You're just not going to get better as a football team. As for the Dez Bryant decision, could it come by April 16th? We're upgrading this one to 3 stars now. It does seem pretty likely. That's what all the reports out there are indicating, like, hey, we're going to make our decision by the offseason program. That's the start date for April 16th. My mindset is, I don't think that's the most logical decision date. I think it's after the NFL draft. If you get a wide receiver in round 1 or maybe even early in round 2, then you can cut Dez Bryant because you have at least a body there. But all the reports indicate April 16th. I'm not quite convinced. That's why it's only 3 stars, not quite on the 4-star mark there. Again, I'm not cutting Dez Bryant. If I'm going to, I wait till after the draft. Don't force yourself to go wide receiver early. If Ridley, Sutton, maybe a DJ Moore all go before you, why would you force yourself to reach for another receiver there? Have to take one earlier. Don't set yourself up to have to take one position early. You do still need a guard. You want linebacker depth. Don't add receiver to the must-draft list as well. So I don't think April 16th is the right deadline. It is, though, however, if you're going to keep Dez Bryant or ask him to take a pay cut. But this whole handling of Dez Bryant in general has just not been good. You've got Stephen Jones and others making public comments about who we think Dez is a distraction. And the Cowboys haven't come out and said, hey, we're going to keep Dez Bryant. The report was they were going to stick him with Allen Hurns. Maybe the voices, I think Skylar Hand is among them, that want Dez gone are getting more and more power in the Cowboys front office. We'll wait and see what happens with Dez, and of course we'll keep updated here on Dez Bryant throughout the offseason once we get a final decision, maybe by April 16th. Next up, we'll get to some draft talk here. The Cowboys going to draft DJ Moore. Well, 2 stars on this one. If you watched our journalist-led mock draft last night on Chat Sports, our NFL Chat Sports Facebook page, DJ Moore was the pick by Katie Drummond. I was upset because Vita Vea was on the board, but that's okay. DJ Moore has been a very popular target for the Cowboys. They've shown a ton of interest in him as well. And oh, by the way, if you pick a wide receiver in round 1, that means Dez Bryant is gone, likely going to be cut. The Cowboys have nerfed his trade value as well because they keep saying, oh, he's not quite in great shape there. So DJ Moore there, a potential pick for the Dallas Cowboys in round 1. I am, though, curious here what you guys want to do in round 1. I think you try and get just the best player available. I am looking at guard in particular. I've done a lot of the simulated mock drafts. I like my team the best when I don't take linebacker in round 1. I think there's better depth at linebacker than there is a guard or defensive tackle. That's the route I would go. In reality, I want them to trade down, get some more assets, and then in round 2, move up to the top of round 2, like we know that they like to do, and get another borderline first-round talent. We'll stick with some more receivers here around the NFL draft. How about Michael Gallup and the Cowboys? 2 stars on this one as well, because Gallup and the Cowboys had a quote-unquote private meeting. I interpret that to be viewed, or a private workout, excuse me. He's a day 2 option. I like him coming out of Colorado State. The Cowboys showed interest at the NFL Combine as well. If Dallas doesn't go with DJ Moore or Courtland Sutton, we'll get to here in just a second, I think maybe round 3, round 2, if they move down and move back up at the end of round 2, I think Gallup makes a lot of sense there. A talented player, but again, profiles more as a number 2 receiver than a number 1 wideout. One more rumor left for you guys today. How about Courtland Sutton and the Dallas Cowboys? 2 stars on this one as well, because according to Ian Rappaport, the Cowboys had quote-unquote private time with Courtland Sutton. I interpret that to mean a private workout. It's not a 30 visit. He does not count for one of those. Jason Garrett was also at the SMU Pro Day and met with Courtland Sutton. There is very clearly some interest involved here with Sutton and the Cowboys. I don't know if it's a round 1 pick. I don't think the Cowboys should go wide receiver in round 1, but there's definitely some interest involved here with Sutton and the Dallas Cowboys.